introduction to Mountain Blade Warband. So, there are a few things I'll cover in this. How to start your character, best things to do once you start, and kind of the best route to go in this. This game is a lot like any other open world game. There are about 15 dozen different ways to play it, all depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So, without further ado, welcome, adventurer, to Mountain Blade Warband. Before beginning the game, you must create your character. Remember that in the traditional medieval society depicted in the game, war and politics are usually dominated by a male member. Oh, I skipped a line. Did I? Yeah, whatever. You know. Depicted in the game, war and politics are usually dominated by the male members of the nobility. That does not, however, mean that you should not choose to play as a female character. You actually should choose to play as a female character, because one, half of the trophies for this game involve having a female character. So your first character, don't get attached to it, because you'll probably need to make another one. But your final character, if your goal is to beat the game, quote unquote, and take over the whole world, there's a trophy that you get for being a girl and doing that. You don't get one for being a guy. So, you know. That's always fun. For this, I'll do a male, just because it doesn't really matter right now. Okay. This is the easiest start. Male, noble. These depend upon... No, they don't depend. They affect your base skills and the equipment you get when you start. So these all give you different, starting stats. Some will be lower or higher depending on what you choose. If you do this, your linguistics and like persuasion, you're much better at talking to people if you do this one. So it's a good start. With these, you want to do something like a smith. They get the best gear, armor-wise. And squires get good weapons, game poachers get a good bow to start with. Let's go with smith for now. I don't know what this changes. Yeah, I don't think it really matters, honestly. Become an adventurer. So, if you choose the first one, I don't know if you saw which one I selected, your father, if you choose he was an impoverished noble, you get to choose a lovely banner. You can look through those on your own. I'll choose this one because that's the only one I ever choose. Doesn't matter what the name is. So, with strength, it's an important skill later on for building your character. It's like just your character is what strength is. It allows you to use better weapons and horses. The horses, if you look on the skills, there's riding right under athletics. And your riding has to be 4 to use war horses. Right now it's at 2, so I can only use like a lower level non-armored horses. So I want to put more into my strength for better horses. Early game though, I would go with intelligence mainly, because every point you put into it gives you another... every attribute point you put into it gives you a skill point to use. So you want to use those a lot at first, do a lot in like persuasion, and then there's these healing ones over here that are the most important during early game. Wound treatment, surgery are 2 of the most important skills by far. And then, you got your weapons. Now, if you're going to do tournaments, you're going to use all these weapons at some point. It doesn't matter what you put it into, but if you know that you want your character to be like a sword and shield guy mainly, you can put it into one-handed mainly, or pole arms, lances, and stuff, etc., etc. So we'll just put all these in random places for now. I'll do a more specified guide on how to build a good character later. This is just an intro to the game. Oh, yes, Going to build my face. Kind of a Skyrim-esque character designer, but it really only changes their face. There's some really weird ones. Like this one. The duck face. We'll do this one. And go down to the done button. Alright. This is your starting point. As you can tell, there are 6 different places to start, all in the 6 different kingdoms of Calradia. Now, what I suggest, and you don't have to follow this, start here in Shariz with the Serenid Sultanate. I only suggest this because there is a particular type of troop you can recruit from here that, in my opinion, is the best in the game. But if you feel you want to start with the Nords, go ahead. Vigris, those guys are assholes, but go ahead. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, you can go anywhere anyway. So you start off, you're just in this little town. Got my nice bear emblem shield. Oh my. When you're not moving, your accuracy goes up. See, watch. Oh, I have a crossbow. I have to reload. Oh, there's a fight. Okay, so you'll learn the basics of combat. There's a tutorial you can play. One Punch Man. He's a good guy, don't worry. He just gives you your first quest. He's like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna, actually, I'm just gonna, like, blow through all of this. Because it's not, it doesn't matter to the game, really. Okay, so. This is Calradia. Our wonderful little continent that we're gonna take over at some point, maybe. If you feel like that's what you want to do. As you can see, it's a pretty diverse landscape. Got pretty much everything. Lots of cities. There's castles. There's rivers. Little cities and shit. All sorts of stuff. If you click the left stick, it's super helpful because it brings you back to where you are if you forget. So you start off as your little self. Just one guy. Start off with a horse and weapons and some crappy armor. Your first quest is to go hire some people, or not hire them, but collect 5 men to help you fight. You can actually go to these main cities. Oh, hi, I must beg my leave. I wasn't talking to you, sir. Click on the city. Sometimes if there's like 3 parties in the city, it's kind of hard to click on it. There we go. So you can recruit 2 ways. Go to city taverns, walk in, and there will be mercenaries. There are, I think, 5 different kinds of mercenaries you can hire. There's crossbowmen, mercenary cavalry, mercenary swordsmen, and mercenary horsemen. Mercenary cavalry are the best, just because they're really strong, and they're on horses. Horses are so important in this game. Always have horse troops, mainly. Like, it's your shield, your vanguard. Is there a tournament? No, not here yet. Okay. The biggest part of the game, for early game, that you need to do, is you need to go to these main cities and enter in tournaments. And if you go to the arena, actually talk to the tournament master. Just skip through all these. Oh, okay. I'll get killed. This is the melee fight. It's just a quick way to get, like, betting money for the tournaments. You just fight as many people as you can before you're downed. The more you kill, the more gold you'll get for it. Or not gold, denars, whatever the currency is, but... And in tournaments, it's like normal combat, which you didn't get a good sight of it. I'll gather 5 men and you can see better. Anyway.
You better not be a manhunter.
Oh yeah, you'll get attacked by bandits. Here's a good explanation. Watch me get killed and taken prisoner by these bandits. So, as far as the early game is concerned, you want to build a large force of people as fast as you can. Now, It's cheaper to go to these little villages, and you can actually recruit villagers, and they'll join you. But they won't be as strong as mercenaries, but they're way cheaper, and will actually turn out better. Nice. I would have already been dead if I didn't have a horse. So, you know, horses are bait in this game. God, I can't believe I just said that. I'm actually doing much better than I thought. Now, if you can imagine having an army of war horses with heavily armored people on them, you can do some damage to others. I just have nothing to say right now. Horse combat can be kind of hard sometimes, because sometimes you'll get swarmed, like in an early game when you just have a bunch of footmen, weak footmen. They'll, you can ride ahead of them, but if you do that, you'll kind of get fucked. So, you know, stay with your homies. Help them out, they'll help you out. I'm not surprised I lived. Yeah, you'll get bloody too. It's kind of cool. Oh, someone just joined or something. So obviously, I got to take all of their weapons and armor and stuff. You can sell this off. It's good to sell it off because you get gold. Gold means soldiers. Soldiers mean more gold, etc., etc. Oh, did one get away? Let's go after him. Let's get him. You think you can run away from me? You will be my prisoner or die. We will fight to the last man. Who is we? You are the last man. You know what? No, I'm not even using my horse. I'm just gonna walk up and I'm gonna shoot him in the face. And if you do get a banner, you can either get them at the beginning of the game or earn it later on. It'll be on most of your shields. Some shields are like leather covered, so they won't have your sigil. But other ones, they will. It'll be all painted on. And you'll have your nice army of soldiers, and all their shields will have it. And you'll feel that sense of pride that, you know, you're leading them into battle. Those are your men, etc., etc. Ooh, headshot. Oh, you're so dead. It didn't. Okay, it did say headshot. And sometimes people get knocked unconscious instead of killed, and you can take them prisoner and sell them off into slavery. Actually, make some decent cash that way. Just betting money for the tournaments, which you can bet 5, 10, 20, or 100 on yourself. And the highest you can get is 4,000 from a tournament, which is awesome. Cool. I'm actually making a video for you and Damien right now. Cool. Yeah. I wish I could go on this island. Cool. Well, the lowest you can get in a tournament is like 2,000. Now, before every tournament, you hit save as. You make a little save file. I'm not going to make one in here just because I'm not keeping this character, but that. And you always go into options. If you scroll down, you want to disable autosave. I know that seems counterintuitive. Oh, what if I get killed? I can just go back. Well, certain events will happen that will completely fuck up your game. Like, you'll get taken prisoner and lose everything and have to restart. And it's, you know, the stuff of rage quits. So just disable it and be smart about when you save. Because sometimes you will get ambushed by a large party that you're way outnumbered. And sometimes you can win when you're outnumbered if your men are strong enough, but there are other times when, you know, you think you have these awesome foot soldiers, and then this group of cavalry will come in and just destroy them within seconds, and you can't run. You will be caught, and you will be taken prisoner, and they will take your shit. Like, all of it. They took my thumbs. Johnny, they took my thumb. Anyway. We'll go to this village. So, you can, go to the village center and walk around. The graphics in this game aren't fantastic, but they're good. Good enough, you know. There's a lot of, you can tell, like, while the graphics aren't fantastic, they definitely put attention to detail in. You know, they definitely tried to make it look nice. Like a, you know, realistic. And somewhere around here, actually it's probably that guy, am I right? Is that the village elder? Yeah. You can talk to them. Sometimes they'll have work for you. You can get experience and gold from those. It always helps. You can buy supplies here, which is mainly just like food. But you can also, you don't have to be like a warrior commander. You can just be a simple trader. Buy stuff in one place, sell it for a profit in another. And then, yeah, that's a different way to recruit. Or you can just do it from this. You can attack villages. You know what? I'll do it. I'll steal some cattle. Can I steal some cattle? I failed to steal any cattle. So I kind of pissed off the village by doing that. Which, you know, there's definitely there's like karma system. It's honor. Less honorable you are, the less likely people are to be persuaded by you. More honorable, more likely. There's this thing called renown, which, you know, is exactly what it sounds like. If you win tournaments or battles, you'll get renown. The more renown you have, you know, when you meet a new lord, you'll be like, oh, I'm so-and-so, and they'll be like, oh, I heard you're a great warrior, so perhaps we'll get to battle together one day, or some stupid crap like that. And, it's a simplistic style of game. Like, it looks huge, but it's really not. Like, you can cross the whole map in, like, not even a minute. But, yeah, it devils in the details. There's definitely a few dozen different ways to go. You can join one of these different, like, each color is a different kingdom. You can join one specific one and help them rise to power, or by gaining enough renown, honor, and right to rule, which right to rule is, as it sounds like, there are certain people you can meet that are characters, not just NPCs. You can change their gear. They have, like, their own personality, and certain people that you will recruit won't like other people you can recruit, and sometimes, you know, there's a little bit of animosity there. Some people, you'll recruit them, they'll be with you for a while, and they'll be like, oh, this guy pissed me off, I want to leave. And sometimes you can persuade them to stay for a little longer or permanently, and sometimes they'll just walk off into the sunset and you'll never see them again. So it is really dependent upon how you play. It's like Skyrim in a lot of ways. You know, you can choose to be a bandit guy, you know, raiding villages and stealing, or you can be the warrior king and rule with an iron fist. It's all what you want to do. So, yeah, you know, do what you want, play how you like, enjoy it. There's a ton, like, I'm in the desert right now, but there's snowy places. There's really is, like, every type of, culture here. Not every type, but, you know, it covers a lot. Pretty expansive as far as, types of troops you can get that are obviously, like, you know, oh, that's an Arabia, not Arabia. Area. Ugh. I was choking on that area. But, there's Nords and stuff, so there's that kind of style. And depending on where you recruit, it changes what they have and how they fight. Like, this green place, Rodux, has great crossbowmen. These yellow ones have the best cavalry in the game, eventually. And, you can actually upgrade troops, so somewhere in here, say if I had recruited from one of the villages, it'll have a Serenid recruit. And as they gain experience from a skill, you can get called trainer, or from battles, you can upgrade them, and it'll bring them to like the next class. So it'll go from Saranin recruit to Saranin footman, then veteran footman, then horseman, and then they can go to their cavalry stage, which is Mamluks or Mamluks, and they have war horses and are like super armored and carry maces, and they're pretty badass looking. And a huge aspect also is marriage and courtship. You can marry highborn women and marry into the family. You can then use those connections to gain right to rule or take over a fucking kingdom, because if you get your father-in-law or your brother-in-law or any relation to her, you can kind of schmooze up to them. They'll like you more, and then they'll join you when you decide to turn on whatever place you're doing. They just have to like you enough. You can go into here to characters and view all of them. There's a lot. There's the ladies. So the Amir is like the prefix to a lord, pretty much. So she has 4. So if I married her, then I could have connections with these 4, and I could convince those 4 to join me. Now, having one lord, most lords in this game will have like around 100 men. When you start off, you can have 60. I can have 57. So, just work on your character and stuff. I guess I should go back, actually. Without saving. And I'll go into a little depth on how to build a good character for your start. So, if you want to go easy mode, so to say, do a male. Hard mode, female. So we'll go male for now. Always do the noble, because then you get your free little banner. Now with this, I would suggest doing the page at a nobleman's court and then a squire. Because with a squire, it'll give you a combat-oriented skills. That way you don't have to work on building your character at the front of the game. It's already built up a little bit. You can focus on building your army traits. I still don't know if these affect you at all. So I always choose the bear one, because it's a bird. I like birds. So depending on where you start off, obviously I started off not the correct way I did with another character. I had a much higher intelligence with the character I wanted. Intelligence is definitely the most important in early game. You want to put all of your points into it. Oh, right. That's nice. If you mess up, there's a little reset button and you can go back to your putting in skill stuff. So I want to put all of these into skills. These first 2 are going to be surgery and wound treatment. Always do those first 2. Because 1 helps your people heal faster if they get wounded, and 1 prevents them from being killed as often. You also want to make sure that your persuasion is up. Those 3 are by far the most important in this game. Now, there's skills like Iron Flesh, which are really tempting to get because it says it increases your hit points, and you're like, oh yeah, that's awesome. As long as you have good armor, your hit points are not necessarily important. Starting off with just 43 is fine as long as you can get a good armor set. Now, I will be showing in this, there is a free set of armor that you can get that's actually, like, better than half the stuff in the game, and it looks like samurai armor. Power throw, power draw. Usually, if you can, you want to put it into riding, just because that way you can get the nice horses. But for this one, I'll put it into trainer. That's also one of the most important beginning game, because that way you don't have to fight for your troops to start being able to upgrade. You just have to go through the day without them dying. Spread these around. Whatever you want to do. This part, proficiencies, it's not a huge deal. You can gain proficiency ridiculously quick. Now, If you want to start building an army immediately, start here. If you want to start building your character immediately, you're going to start here. Actually, you could start here too. They're pretty close. We'll start here, because this one will get us closer to the armor. So we gotta fight off this bandit. So that's how you start this game, is it starts you off in combat against a bandit with a crossbow and a sword. It's always the same. I've never gotten like a normal bow or an axe or something like that, you know, it's always a crossbow and sword. And then this merchant will run up and give you your first quest. You'll get to go murder some bandits, slit their throats in their sleep, you know, fun stuff. Okay, so you're going to want to start off by going here if you're going to build your character. If you're building your army first, just start going to villages, because you'll start here. So just go to these surrounding villages and recruit men and start upgrading them. Once they get to their final evolution, they're some of the strongest in the game. I wonder if I can even get up there without getting mugged. Oh, I did. Cool. Oh, and join a tournament. I'll probably join the first round just to show. So if you want this awesome samurai armor, you go and you say, take a walk around the streets. For some reason, you're on a horse. Because, yeah, I'm going to ride my horse into town. That sounds like a great idea. Oh, horse coming through. Excuse me. So you're just going to walk. You're going to take a left, and you're going to take the left as far as you can. Then you make a right. And then there's a chest in the hay. You go over to the chest, you open it. I didn't mean to get off my horse. And strange armor. As you can see, it looks like samurai armor. And they get you a little katana. You can barely contain how happy I am. And there's supposed to be a helmet. I saw this one video. That's how I found this. And you're supposed to go to, I believe, was Tolga or Tur, and the village or the city interior is completely different than it was in the video. So I don't know. There's supposed to be a great sword and a helmet that you can get to. Was it here? No, it's not it. Anyway, oops. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, from here on out, it's just kind of figured out from yourself. Always make sure that your troops have food. If you don't, they get pissy and some of them will abandon you. Always make sure you have money. In the early game, whether or not you decide to build your character or your army first, the thing that you have to do first, before anything else really, is do tournaments. Many tournaments as you can, because you can get, you know, around 4,000 every, it's 2,000 to 4,000 every tournament. You want to start off by saving up around $60,000, and then you can have your army be fed and paid for and not have to worry about it. Then you can start getting into the politics and taking over stuff if that's what you want to do, or you can, you know, support one faction and then turn on them, or support one faction and try to take over the faction. You know, convince the lords, oh well, that king is kind of an asshole. I should be king for, you know, I'm king of the Nords, not that guy. You know, it's a lot of do it yourself. You know, write your own adventure type shit. And yeah. I guess the most important piece of information I can pass on right now is don't get too big for your britches. I took over this castle on my first character pretty much immediately. I was like, oh, that was super easy. Now I have a castle. I'll just make peace with the country I took it from. No, it's never as easy as you think. It's never going to go to the plan. So if you are going to decide to take over this place, which, you know, that is a legitimate goal, make sure you have a strong company of mercenaries. Mercenaries are very important. like that's one way you can do good in the early game is just hire some mercenary cavalrymen, because those will take care of any foot bandits that try to stop you. And don't be dismayed by numbers. You may have 50 men and your enemy may have 300, but if you go into your settings, or options I should say, go to battle size, just turn it all the way down. That way, if you have the better troops, they won't get flocked. You know, they won't get surrounded by the army of ants and the spider dies. That was a very poorly worded analogy, but you get the point. It keeps you from being overrun, really. And, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you want, there are so many different types of troops in this game you can recruit. You can have, you know, a strong group of horse archers, or, like, you want to go strong cavalry between horse archers and horse, like, melee fighters. Go with Swadia. That's this place, the orange-ish, yellowish color. But if you just want a group of heavily armored cavalrymen that will mow down your enemies, recruit from here. The desert peoples. They are the best in the game, in my opinion. The last character I started, I only recruited from here. I recruited all the way up to 65, and I started battling and battling and battling. And now I have like 40 cavalrymen. With that group of 40, as long as I can turn one other lord, I could take over the entire fucking continent, and I'm not even kidding. As long as I can retain at least 40 of them, because they're so heavily armored, every other troop almost every other troop pales in comparison. So, you know, build an army, build yourself. Don't do it too fast. Like, you can take your time. Now, these countries fight amongst themselves anyway. So a smart play, say you piss off somebody from Swadia, a lord, you accidentally bump into him and say the wrong thing. Well, you can wait for the Nords to take over their country, and then problem solved. Or you can, you know, pit two countries against each other sometimes if you're in the right political situation. Like, at first I was surprised that this game only takes, I can't see it from there, it only takes up, 1.4 gigabytes, or 1.14 actually. So, it's not a very in-depth game, but there's a lot to do within the little bit of data, if that makes sense. So anyway, that is the introduction to this game. I hope it was entertaining, even though I know it wasn't. It was probably very boring, but I got the point across, so, you know. Yay. How do I stop broadcasting? Oh, there's the button.